Welcome to an architectural exploration of modern democracy. Today, we are tracing the roots, framework, and living structure of Panchayati Raj in Rajasthan. Just like any magnificent structure, grassroots governance requires a master plan, one that transforms raw political ideas into a solid, living reality for millions of citizens. Let us dive into the blueprint of local self-governance. Before 1992, local self-government in India was like grass without roots, a famous phrase coined by the G.V.K. Rao Committee diagnosis in 1985. Early rural local bodies suffered from heavy bureaucratic control, a severe lack of financial resources, and irregular elections delayed at the whim of state governments. But post-1992 brought a monumental shift. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act anchored local governance directly into the Constitution of India, creating an unbreakable mandate that guaranteed regular elections and dedicated financial support. The journey toward local self-governance was built step by step over more than a century. It began in 1882 with Lord Ripon's resolution, widely known as the Magna Carta of local self-government in India. In 1928, the princely state of Bikaner set a historic precedent by becoming the very first to grant constitutional status to Gram Panchayats. Following independence, Article 40 of the Indian Constitution formally directed states to organize and empower village panchayats. Then came a milestone moment. On October 2, 1959, Panchayati Raj officially began in India at Bagdari village in Nagaur, Rajasthan, inaugurated under Chief Minister Mohanlal Sukhadia. Decades later, in 1989, Rajiv Gandhi's government introduced the 64th Amendment attempt to constitutionalize the system nationwide, though it ultimately failed to pass in the Rajya Sabha. Nationally, 5 key committees shaped the evolution of Panchayati Raj thinking. First, the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee of 1957 recommended a 3-tier system with direct elections for the Gram Panchayat and the collector presiding over the Zila Parishad. Second, the Ashok Mehta Committee of 1977 advocated a 2-tier model consisting of Mandal and Zila levels, requesting constitutional status, elections with political symbols, and reservations for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Third, the G.V.K. Rao Committee of 1985 diagnosed the lack of local empowerment, placing the Zila Parishad as the primary pillar and introducing the role of District Development Commissioner. Fourth, the L.M. Singhvi Committee of 1986 strongly advocated explicit constitutional recognition and the creation of Panchayati Raj tribunals. Fifth, the Gadgil Committee of 1988 proposed a 3-tier framework, a fixed 5-year tenure, reservations for women, scheduled castes, and scheduled tribes, along with dedicated state finance and election commissions. At the state level, Rajasthan formed crucial committees to refine its administrative engine. The Sadiq Ali Committee of 1964 focused on expanding the electoral college for electing the Pradhan and the Zila Pramukh. The Girdhari Lal Vyas Committee of 1973 mandated appointing a dedicated Gram Sevak, now known as the Village Development Officer, in every single Gram Panchayat to strengthen local administration. The Harlal Singh Khara Committee created a centralized rural planning node by elevating the Zila Pramukh to serve as chairman of the District Rural Development Agency. The 73rd Amendment created a master framework across 4 clear functional zones under Part 9 of the Constitution. Zone 1, Foundations. Article 243 establishes the Gram Sabha, Article 243b mandates the 3-tier system, and Article 243c covers composition and elections. Zone 2, Elections and Rules. Article 243d mandates seat reservations, Article 243e sets a fixed 5-year duration, and Article 243f outlines disqualifications. Zone 3, Finance and Powers. Article 243g grants powers over 29 subjects under the 11th schedule. Article 243h defines taxation powers. Article 243I mandates the State Finance Commission, and Article 243j enforces account audits. Zone 4, Jurisdictions. Article 243K establishes the State Election Commission, while Articles 243L through O govern union territories, exemptions, and court restrictions. The 73rd Amendment balances national uniformity with state flexibility. Mandatory provisions. These are unbreakable baseline rules. They include organizing Gram Sabhas, setting 21 as the minimum contesting age, establishing a 3-tier system, or 2-tier if population is under 20 lakh, reserving seats for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and at least 1/3 for women, and creating state election and finance commissions. Voluntary provisions. States retain discretion to implement reservations for other backward classes, decide whether the Sarpanch is elected directly or indirectly, grant local taxation powers, devolve the 29 subjects of the 11th schedule, and allow representation of members of parliament and legislative assemblies in local bodies. At the base of village democracy is the Gram Sabha, the direct legislature formed by all adult voters registered within a panchayat circle. It channels community input into social audits, economic planning, and social justice. In Rajasthan, meeting mechanics are strictly regulated. A quorum of 1/10 of total members is required. 4 mandatory meetings take place annually on January 26th, May 1st, August 15th, and October 2nd. Special meetings can also be called on March 8th for Women's Day and November 14th for Children's Day. All meetings are presided over by the Sarpanch or the Sarpanch in their absence. To contest an election, candidates must meet specific constitutional standards alongside Rajasthan-specific guidelines. Qualifications. Under Article 243F, a candidate must be a local citizen, at least 21 years old, and listed on the local electoral roll. Disqualifications. In Rajasthan, candidates are disqualified if they hold an office of profit or active government job, have been removed for moral turpitude, or violate the 2-child norm by having more than 2 children after the year 1995. Note: educational qualifications were introduced by the Rajasthan government in 2014, but this requirement was officially abolished in 2019. Rajasthan operates on a robust 3-tier administrative architecture. At the base tier is the Gram Panchayat, with 11,341 units currently active. The political head is the directly elected Sarpanch, supported by the Administrative Village Development Officer. At the middle tier is the Panchayat Samiti, with 352 units. The political head is the Pradhan, indirectly elected by members, paired with the Administrative Block Development Officer. At the apex tier stands the Zila Parishad, covering 33 districts. The political head is the indirectly elected Zila Pramukh, working alongside the Administrative Chief Executive Officer. Administrative clarity is essential in local governance, especially regarding resignations. At the village level, the Sarpanch, Sarpanch, and ward members submit their resignations directly to the Block Development Officer. At the block level, Panchayat Samiti members and the Deputy Pradhan submit resignations to the Pradhan, while the Pradhan submits directly to the Zila Pramukh. At the district level, Zila Parishad members and the Deputy Pramukh resign to the Zila Pramukh. Finally, the Zila Pramukh submits their resignation directly to the Divisional Commissioner. Autonomy in local governance rests on 2 independent pillars. The State Election Commission, Article 243, is responsible for preparing electoral rolls and conducting free elections. Established in Rajasthan in 1994 under its first commissioner, Amar Singh Rathod, it has been guided by leaders like Madhukar Gupta. The State Finance Commission, Article 243I, constituted every 5 years to recommend net tax revenue distribution between the state and local bodies. First headed by K.K. Goyal, its work continues through panels guided by leaders like Pradyuman Singh and Arun Chaturvedi. To protect tribal communities, the provisions of the Panchayats, Extension to Scheduled Areas, Act was passed nationally in 1996 and implemented in Rajasthan on September 30, 1999. Based on the Bhuria Committee recommendations, PESA empowers the Gram Sabha as the core administrative authority across 8 scheduled and partial districts: Banswara, Dungarpur, Pratapgarh, Chittorgarh, Udaipur, Rajasmand, Pali, and Sirohi. It shields traditional customs, prevents land exploitation, and guarantees participatory democracy outside standard bureaucratic control. When we piece the entire blueprint together, we see a complete, integrated engine. Adult voters form the Gram Sabha at the foundation, feeding energy upward into the Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, and Zila Parishad. Financial lifeblood flows smoothly through the State Finance Commission, while electoral integrity is maintained by the State Election Commission. Unifying urban and rural development across the district is the District Planning Committee under Article 243 ZE, composed of 25 members and chaired by the Zila Pramukh. Panchayati Raj in Rajasthan has evolved from early 19th century resolutions and the historic spark at Bagdari, Nagaur, into an unbreakable constitutional reality. Anchored by the 73rd Amendment, local self-government is no longer grass without roots, but a living, permanent structure that empowers every village across the state.